morning. Bonjour, bienvenue chez Nokia Canada. Nous sommes très heureux d'être parmi vous afin de vous présenter notre important projet. Hello everyone and welcome. Thank you for joining us this morning. My name is Jeff Maddox. I'm the president of Nokia Canada. I'd like to take a moment before we get started and acknowledge that we are gathered here today on the unceded Anishinaabe-Algonquin territory. The peoples of the Anishinaabe-Algonquin Nation have lived in this territory for millennia, and their culture and presence continue to nurture this land. Nokia honors the peoples and lands of the Anishinaabe-Algonquin Nation. Nokia honors all First Nations, Inuit and Métis people, their valuable past and present contributions to this land. Thank you. It's wonderful to see a great cross-section of customers, employees, community and government partners that are here today to really mark an important day, not only for Nokia, but for Ottawa and for Canadian technology. Nokia has a long and proud history of innovation, job creation, and community building here in Ottawa and in Canada, and we're very excited to announce today our next step in that journey. To make that announcement in a moment, I'm very pleased to welcome to Ottawa Nokia's President and Chief Executive Officer, Pekka Lundmark. Of course, I must acknowledge our incredible Canadian team, in particular my partner in crime, Andy Thompson, who's the VP of Business Development and Site Lead for our Ottawa campus. We're also lucky to have a number of local, provincial, and federal leaders joining us who've been great supporters of Canada's tech ecosystem, advocates of green connectivity, digitization, and drivers of economic growth over many years. The Right Honourable Prime Minister Trudeau, welcome. The Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario. The Honourable Minister François-Philippe Champagne. The Honourable President of the Treasury Board, Mona Fortier. The Honourable Minister Vic Fedeli. The Honourable Marilee Fullerton. His Worship Jim Watson, Mayor of Ottawa, and Member of Parliament for Canada North, Jenna Sudds. Welcome to each of you, and thank you for your ongoing partnership with Nokia. Without further ado, let's get to the excitement. It's a great honor to welcome to the stage Nokia's President and CEO, Pekka Lundmark.
Mr. Prime Minister, Premier Ford, Minister Champagne, Minister Fedeli, Mayor Watson, ministers, dignitaries, MPs, MPPs, ambassadors, warmly welcome to our event today. Bonjour à tous, merci de nous rejoindre. Nous apprécions que vous ayez pris le temps de vos horaires chargés pour être avec nous. Aujourd'hui est le résultat d'une collaboration à long terme et d'un travail acharné. Je suis heureux de pouvoir le célébrer avec vous tous. This is a really significant day for Nokia and for the Canadian tech industry. You know, at Nokia our purpose is to create technology that helps the world act together. We are a multinational communications technology company founded in 1865 with customers in over 130 countries. As a trusted partner for critical networks, we are committed to innovation and technology leadership across mobile, fixed, and cloud networks. We have a great team here in Canada, over 2,000 in number. Actually, I think if we calculate everybody into the number, it's about 2,400. This team has always been at the forefront of this development. They have a track record of innovation, commercialization, and dedication. Ottawa is already one of our key global R&D sites today and a major hub for 2 of our business groups. We are organized in 4 global businesses, and 2 of these businesses are already today having Ottawa as their key R&D hub. We always knew that with bigger and better facilities and with more people, our Canadian colleagues could take even a more prominent role in developing connectivity, which is fit for the future. Today's announcement sounds the starting gun for our plan to transform Nokia's Ottawa facility into a world-leading, sustainable R&D hub. This is a great location for expansion because Ontario is the second largest cluster of tech talent outside of Silicon Valley in North America. On completion, this hub will lead some of our most important work on technologies that are vital to government, to industry, and to communities, including 5G, cybersecurity, and artificial intelligence. And in practice, this will mean hundreds of new high-value jobs, new housing, new commercial properties, new laboratories, research laboratories and testing facilities, new open spaces and state-of-the-art green technology to make sure our impact on the environment is minimal. In short, we want to, with this investment, we are going to secure Canada's position as a green technology leader globally. From Nokia's point of view, advanced facilities like this are vital as we seek to develop and refine connectivity fit for the 21st century. Every single day, our engineers work on products and services that allow local, national, and global economies to become bigger, more efficient, and more sustainable. In fact, I firmly believe that there is a hugely important connection between the two, between the digital transition and the green transition. As connectivity becomes more advanced and we want to reach net zero, Nokia and its partners will be able to bring more renewable energy online. You cannot bring maximum amount of weather-dependent renewable energy online unless you have state-of-the-art connectivity and communications technology in the grid. We want to make cities greener and more livable, and we want to provide, of course, more efficient public services. In general, technology is a key part of the answer to pretty much all key challenges that the world is facing. I already mentioned the importance of net zero, but it's not only about that. It's also about biodiversity, efficient use of resources, equal access to opportunity, equal access to healthcare, equal access to public services, equal access to education, equal access to work, and so on, and so on. And as we put it in Nokia, and this is one of the slogans that we use, there is no green without digital. So, ladies and gentlemen, with so much at stake, I was delighted that the city or the municipal government, provincial government, and federal government, all, as well as the people of Ottawa, decided to support us in this development. I know that the ambition is to make Ottawa a globally significant center for innovation, and we hope that this Nokia site can be at the heart of that. So on behalf of the whole of Nokia, I want to say thank you to the people and legislators of Ottawa, Ontario, and Canada for making this investment a reality. The same goes for the local team. There is still plenty of work to do before the new facility is complete, which should happen on January 1st, 2026. But today is a big step along the way, and I know that it is the result of a huge amount of hard work and creativity. So I want to thank everyone involved for stepping up and making this project happen. Ladies and gentlemen, I firmly believe that Ottawa has what it takes to become one of the world's most competitive tech hubs. This development will help make that a reality. And along with everyone at Nokia, I'm excited to see that ambition take shape. Thank you very much. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Pekka. Kiitos. Speaking on behalf of all of Nokia Canada, we're deeply grateful that you see the hard work and ingenuity in all our Canadian and Ottawa team members. Choosing the Ottawa Tech Cluster to build Nokia's next change-making, state-of-the-art R&D hub is a huge testament to this team's talent, and today we celebrate all of you and your hard work. Like Pekka said, Nokia creates the technology that helps the world act together and helps improve people's lives, but we can't do that alone. Which is why I'm very happy today to be joined by many members of the Canadian government who have always been great partners to Nokia, and with whom we are partnering again to create jobs and keep Canada a global leader in the green digital future. Please welcome our local MP here in Canada North, Jenna Sudds, to say a few words and to make a special introduction.
Good morning, everyone. Bonjour à tous et à toutes. Thank you very much for the warm welcome here this morning at Nokia. It truly is a pleasure for me to join you this morning as your Member of Parliament for Canada Carleton, but also as a proud champion of the incredible research and innovation that happens in this park each and every day. I'd like to acknowledge my many colleagues who have joined us here this morning, namely, of course, our Prime Minister, of course, Premier Ford, and the ministers and colleagues who have joined us. I especially want to thank Minister Champagne this morning, who understands the importance of Nokia's growth here in this riding, and to Canadian R&D as a whole. So thank you for seeing this historic moment, this investment to fruition today, and for being a champion for Canada's technology. For those of you who work in the park, you know what a special place this is, with rich telecom roots, an incredible history, and I know an even brighter future. This is a connected innovation community and a world-class 5G hub. We have over 33,000 people who work for the companies in this park, over 540 companies that call Canada North home, companies operating within just a few kilometers of this location. These people, these businesses, and this local ecosystem contribute over $13 billion to Canada's GDP annually. Nokia is the largest employer here in the park, and as we hear, set to grow. With a deep history dating back many decades, Nokia's history begins back with Newbridge, which was then acquired, of course, by Alcatel, which became Alcatel-Lucent in 2006. And for the next decade, Alcatel-Lucent grew with acquisitions, a division of Nortel, then Tropic Networks, then Nokia Systems, and then come 2016, acquired by Nokia. And the rest, of course, is history. Since then, we've witnessed continued excellence, continued leadership, and not just in optical and internet protocol networking technologies, but also as a good community partner and an incredible employer of choice. These buildings are full of world-class engineers, incredible talent. My personal thanks to Jeffrey, Andy, and to James for the many conversations over the last few years and your commitment to getting to today's announcement. Nokia has a strong commitment to youth, bringing hundreds of co-op students each year and supporting our community with events like the Inside Ride, which raises money for families dealing with child cancer. And these are just a few examples of Nokia's commitment to our community. This company, this team, is truly world-class. And with today's announcement, I have no doubt of Nokia's continued excellence and growth here in Canada, and success in building out the globe's communication infrastructure to support 5G wireless technology. The Canada North Technology Park is a prime location for future growth, and Nokia is an incredible company demonstrating further commitment to growing in Canada. With that, it is my great pleasure to introduce our Prime Minister, the Right Honourable Justin Trudeau.
Bonjour tout le monde. Merci, Jenna. Je suis très content d'être avec toi ici au Parc technologique de Canada Nord, le plus grand en son genre au Canada. Jenna, c'est entre autres grâce à ton travail qu'on est tous ensemble ici aujourd'hui. Merci de toujours être là pour pousser pour Canada et pour les gens de ta communauté. I was thinking about it actually as you were listing the length of time that companies have been established here. And I suddenly remembered that it was when I was in university, about 30 years ago, that I first came to visit a technology company here. I had a friend of mine who was working here, and she was showing me around and showing me in the engraving on chips and motherboards that was happening here 30 years ago. And I don't think, I mean, it's great to see you here understanding this now. I don't think Canadians appreciate just how much leadership in this country comes from this area here. Canada has been a really important driver of some very big parts of the Canadian economy for a long time, and with this announcement today is going to be even more over the coming years. Je suis très heureux, évidemment, d'être ici en compagnie de Mona Fortier et du ministre François-Philippe Champagne aussi. Mona, ton leadership au niveau du Conseil du Trésor, ta réflexion sur l'avenir qu'on est en train de bâtir, technologique pour le gouvernement, est extrêmement important et on est très content de t'avoir ici. Et François-Philippe, chaque fois qu'on se rencontre pour des annonces, c'est des bonnes nouvelles pour l'économie canadienne à bien différentes façons. Je suis toujours content d'être ici. Of course, Premier Ford, what a pleasure to be back with you for a big announcement. We've demonstrated over many months and years now that big things happen when we work together. Ministers Fedeli and Fullerton, thank you so much to see you as well. When the federal government can work with the provincial government here in Ontario to deliver good, well-paying jobs for our citizens that are laying track for the future we're building together, not just for Ontarians, but for all Canadians. It's always a good day when we're seeing these great projects that make our economy more competitive and our economy growing around the world. Mayor Watson, Jim, great to have you with us as well. You've been a strong advocate for this area for a long time, and it's great to see this continuing to build on the vision that you've laid out. And of course, so glad to be here with Pekka and Jeff for having us at the Nokia campus today and for leading this exciting new project. Pekka, the impact of having the global CEO of such a significant company as Nokia linked into the future of everything we do, recognizing the importance of what we're doing, not just in Canada, but right here in Canada. It's a real boost for everyone who's worked hard. And I have to pause and say, you know, regardless of the contributions of the provincial government, of the federal government, of the municipal government being partners, that's not why Pekka is here today. Pekka is here today because he is recognizing the extraordinary contribution of the workers here at this facility. You know, researchers, scientists, engineers here at Nokia, here in Canada, here across Canada, who have contributed extraordinarily, not just to the growth we've seen in the past, but who are building the future, not just of this region, not just of this country, not just of the world. And they are the reason you are here, and we are so grateful that you recognize that. Aujourd'hui, on est ici pour parler d'un projet de collaboration avec Nokia qui a pour but de faire progresser la recherche et le développement pour la technologie 5G. Les réseaux sans fil 5G jouent un rôle essentiel dans plusieurs aspects de notre vie, comme le travail, les achats qu'on fait en ligne et les communications avec nos proches. Des réseaux efficaces, c'est aussi important si on veut faire du progrès dans des secteurs comme les technologies propres, la médecine et l'agriculture. L'avenir vert, l'avenir de l'économie du savoir, ça ne se passe pas sans le numérique, sans la connectivité que Nokia et d'autres sont en train de faire. This is an exciting announcement that will help us advance 5G technology. This project is about innovative tech research and development happening right here in Canada and creating new opportunities, including for our talented young people. But more specifically, this is a project that would build a world-class R&D hub that will transform the wireless technologies we rely on every day. This project will help build a stronger future for Canadians, and that's why our government is here today to help it move forward. Notre gouvernement est en train de bâtir une économie forte et compétitive pour l'avenir. Et on continue de mettre les Canadiens au cœur de tout ce qu'on fait pour créer de bons emplois. By investing in this new technology, we're helping deliver the technologies Canadians expect in a world of fast-paced change. We're also creating opportunities across the tech sector in Canada. Not only will it make us more connected, but this project is expected to create more than 340 good jobs in this high-paying and fast-growing sector. It'll also increase co-op and internship opportunities for post-secondary students. As Pekka was saying earlier, for about every fourth workstation here, there is an intern here learning and growing. And that commitment to developing the workforce of tomorrow and ensuring diversity in that workforce as well, including bringing in almost 50% women in their internships, is really, really important, not just for the fairer, more equitable society we're building, but for the excellence of the products and the research that is done. By advancing Canada's 5G capabilities, this will help add real value to our economy, because 5G has the potential to add $40 billion to our economy every year by 2026. This fits in to a series of announcements we've been making over the past year. It started in the spring. François-Philippe and I, and Doug was there as well at Stellantis and some other auto sectors, talking about electric vehicles, talking about the battery supply chain. We were just last week at Rio Tinto in Sorel, Quebec, talking about the important investments in a green supply chain around the critical minerals that are needed for the auto industry. I was just on Friday or Thursday in Hamilton, meeting with Dofasco, where investments the province and the federal government are making in moving off of coal is not just going to clean our environment, clean our air, but make sure that Canada and the green steel produced in Canada is continuing to be globally competitive, and that Canada indeed will lead the world in the production of cleaner, more high-quality processes that the auto industry here, but industries around the world need to a much larger degree. At the end of the summer, we welcomed Olaf Scholz to Newfoundland to talk about the hydrogen economy that's being built in Canada as Canada develops the industry to be the provider of energy to a net zero world in the coming decades. Canada is remarkably well positioned for that in a really key way. But of course, none of those advanced technologies, none of that happens without the kind of connectivity that we're here talking about today. And it's not just the high-tech sectors. It's not just hydrogen production and just-in-time EV manufacturing that needs that instant connectivity. On Friday, I was on a farm just outside of Kitchener. And the level of technology that goes into it, from monitors on every dairy cow to make sure that their heartbeat, their chewing rate, their location is covered, to see what stage they're at, to be able to measure exactly how much fertilizer is going where on the field using geolocation. The need to connect everything for maximum efficiency, for maximum productivity, and for maximum beneficial impact, minimizing waste, minimizing excess energy, is going to be the key to moving forward. So Canada is a country with extraordinary natural resources, and our advances on critical minerals and energy are things that the world is going to need right now, because we're doing it environmentally, because we're doing it sustainably, because we're doing it with a high quality of labor standards and quality of life for workers. And that's a key differentiator from places around the world. But on top of that, Canada's advances in communications and digital technology, our advances in world leadership on AI, our moves forward on quantum technologies, these are all the things, and the connectivity that you get from 5G and eventually 6G is happening right here in Canada. Nokia is here today because the work that Canadians have been doing over decades, but particularly over the past number of years, is positioning us to be a world leader in all the things that the globe is going to need and value in the coming years. That's why this announcement matters. That's why Canadians are coming together with an incredibly optimistic view of the future, despite the very real challenges of the world that positions Canada in an extraordinarily propitious way for the coming years. Donc aujourd'hui, c'est un autre exemple du travail qu'on fait pour stimuler les investissements dans l'ensemble de l'économie et s'assurer que tous les Canadiens en profitent. Companies like Nokia keep investing in Canada because they know we have the talent and forward-looking vision that they're looking for. We're excited to see all the potential they'll bring forward with this project, and we'll keep working to create and attract well-paying middle-class jobs across the country while we build an economy that works for all Canadians. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Merci, Monsieur Premier Ministre. Thank you very much for your time and remarks. It's a privilege for Nokia to work alongside the Canadian government on building Canada's green, digital, and 6G future to fuel Canadian-led innovation and to drive well-being and prosperity, not just in Canada, but around the world too. Of course, the nucleus of Nokia Canada's operations are based in the province of Ontario. And we've worked very closely with the Ontario government and Invest Ontario over many years to keep creating new and better opportunities in and for this province. So I'm thrilled now to welcome to the stage the Honourable Doug Ford, Premier of Ontario.
Well, good morning, everyone, and again, thank you, Jeff, for that introduction. It's a real pleasure to be back in Ottawa. Every time I'm here, we have a great visit, and alongside with you, Prime Minister, and I just have to add what you were saying earlier. I can't remember. I know your family's been involved in politics for decades, so have ours. I can't remember a time, and forget these political stripes. I can't stand them. But anyways, forget the political stripes. Two areas of our country, be it the province of Ontario and Canada, that has worked so closely together, no matter if it was billions of dollars in the pandemic, billions of dollars in the auto sector, into the tech sector as well, and so on, green steel, and so on and so forth. So I appreciate the partnership. Here with the hometown gal, Minister Fullerton, thank you for representing the folks here, and my number one salesperson, Minister Vic Fideli. And I know, Francois, I always say you're Canadians' number one salesperson, but you two are a dynamic team. You work well together. And again, Minister Champagne, great to see you. Along with Mayor Watson. Mayor Watson, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for all the work you've done for the people of Ottawa, and I want to wish you all the very best. If you ever get bored in your retirement, call us up and we'll keep you busy doing something. So. And Becca, thank you for having the trust in our province and our country to invest here. And we look forward to working with you hand in hand. And of course, Jeff and Andy and your whole team here at Nokia, who's made this morning possible. Because today we're celebrating a monumental investment here with Nokia. We're celebrating $340 million to expand Nokia's new Canadian headquarters and put down even deeper roots right here in Ontario. Supported by a $30 million investment by our government, this expansion will create 344 new direct jobs. That's 344 in-demand, high-skilled jobs for the people in this region, bringing the number of Nokia's employees in Ontario over 2,000. Becca, I think you said 2,400, so keep them going. Keep them coming, I should say. Nokia's investment is a clear indication that the Canada North Technology Hub will compete as a global tech leader for decades to come. And I was hearing it was 540, I thought it was 550 tech companies, but watch out Silicon Valley, we're coming, we're neck and neck with you folks, and we're going to create that environment. It shows that Ontario remains a top-tier destination for tech businesses to invest and grow. Like the global auto companies, that are choosing Ontario to build the cars and the batteries of the future, Nokia knows what we know. Ontario has some of the best and brightest workers, bar none, anywhere in the world, right here in Ontario and especially right here in Ottawa. Over the past 4 years, we've come so far. We're making real progress on the Ring of Fire as we connect critical minerals and clean green steel to the future of electric vehicles and batteries, all made right here in Ontario. And again, another example where we're working with the federal government with the Ring of Fire and the critical minerals. We have 34 of the most critical minerals anywhere in the world right here in Ontario. Shovels are in the ground on game-changing transit and transportation projects, another great partnership we're doing with the federal and municipal governments. More women and men are entering rewarding careers in skilled trades. Friends, we cannot take this progress for granted. As we navigate global economic uncertainty, our government has been hard at work building an economy that can weather any storm. An economy that never loses sight of what matters most. And what matters most is helping people succeed, helping workers succeed with better jobs and bigger paychecks. That starts with creating economic conditions that attract investments in growth and good jobs. We've cut the red tape to reduce the cost of doing business here in Ontario. These are staggering figures, over $7 billion annually. That's $7 billion year after year after year. We all know it's a real challenge out there worldwide. We're competing against everyone, but with a partnership of the federal government, the provincial government, and municipalities, we've created the environment and the conditions for companies to thrive and prosper and grow. We've kept taxes for people and businesses low. We're investing in skilled trades and the workforce that's prepared for the jobs of today and tomorrow. We're building roads, highways, and infrastructure that tackle gridlock and keep people moving. The roads, highways, and infrastructure that get goods to market sooner. And we're making strategic investments to improve the province's competitive advantage, including the $30 million to help Nokia bring hundreds of new jobs to Ottawa. As we continue to build an economy that's prepared to help people and workers through any uncertainty, I need to give a shout out to our federal and municipal partners standing with us today. When it comes to creating jobs and helping the people of Ontario, it's been a full Team Canada approach. Whether it's the $16 billion, as I was mentioning, in investments over in the last 18 months with electric vehicles and batteries, or transitioning to the clean green steel, as the Prime Minister mentioned, in Hamilton and Sault Ste. Marie, and we're going to be working with Stelco as well to have all the three steel manufacturers on the same page. The results are absolutely incredible. Together, we're building Ontario. Together, we're getting it done. I want to thank you, and God bless the people of Ontario. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Premier Ford. As you might have gathered by now, everyone, Nokia is all about innovation, and as Pekka said, creating technologies that help the world act together. Our next guest is someone who also spends a lot of time thinking about innovation, which is why I'm happy to be working together with the Minister and his team at ISET on this project. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honourable François-Philippe Champagne, Minister of Innovation, Science and Industry, to the stage.
Well, this is the smile of 300 million, you know. I cannot be more excited than that this morning, ladies and gentlemen. You said it, Prime Minister, Premier Ford, this is about Team Canada winning. I was listening to both of you. This is Team Canada winning and being at the forefront of the digital innovation. And Pekka, it's happening right here in Canada, in Ontario, in Canada. Monsieur le Premier ministre, c'est toujours un plaisir de passer du temps ensemble. On se voit régulièrement ces jours-ci. C'est un plaisir parce que je sais que vous êtes un ardent défenseur et promoteur de la science, de la technologie, l'innovation. Et ensemble, on est en train de bâtir une économie qui fonctionne pour tous. Et je dois dire que aujourd'hui, si on est ici, mesdames et messieurs, c'est grâce vraiment à l'appui du premier ministre. Mais Pekka, vous l'avez entendu, c'est la vision du premier ministre qu'on est en train de réaliser. Et je dois dire que sans lui, on ne serait pas ici aujourd'hui. Alors, monsieur le premier ministre, merci de cette vision-là de faire du Canada un champion dans le monde. Moi, je suis souvent le fournisseur de choix éco-responsable du monde. On le voit dans plusieurs domaines et ce matin, c'est un bel exemple. Alors, merci, monsieur le premier ministre, parce que vous nous appuyez à chaque fois qu'on a un projet comme ça, qui est, je dirais même, une opportunité générationnelle. Premier Ford, what can I say? It seems like every time we share the podium, it's all about jobs and growth. So I think let's see each other more often. I would say we have a lot to do, and you mentioned what we did in steel, what we did in the car, and I think the world is taking notice. I'll tell you, I was in Japan recently, and people would say, boy, there's things happening in Canada. So this is the kind of vibe we want to provide around the world. I see Goldie Eider, which is nothing, president of the Canadian Business Council, would agree with that everywhere we go, we promote Canada. Madame la ministre Fortier, je dois vous saluer puis vous dire merci avec Jenna, tout ce que vous avez fait. Parce que je dois dire que Jenna, depuis le début, c'est elle un peu l'idée derrière ce grand projet-là. Oui, on est ici aujourd'hui, mais Jenna, je dois reconnaître qu'avec Mona, vous avez fait un travail exceptionnel. Si on est ici aujourd'hui, c'est parce qu'il y a une vision. Et je dois vous dire merci de m'avoir rappelé à chaque moment d'aller plus vite. So I just want to say thank you for being on my back at every step of the way to make sure that we would deliver not only for Ottawa, but for Canada, and I would say for the region. So thank you, Jenna and Mona, because without you, listen, you were the spark in making sure that this would happen. Minister Fideli, my friend, what can I say? It's nice to be with you again, and you are a great partner, I would say, in turning vision into action, and that's what I like most, because when we meet, it's all about action, it's all about delivery. Pekka, I knew from our first meeting in Espoo in Finland, and I went back to my text message, so we go back to May 27, when I was there, we had the same vision. The only difference, I did not agree with you that you would beat us in overtime on the ice rink that week in Finland. But apart from that, we agree on about everything, that joining forces to lead and to be at the forefront of the digital economy and the 5G technologies. I would say we were in firm agreement. And I want to say thank you for the vision, because at that moment, you shared a vision that would make Canada, I mean, Pekka said it, Canada is one of the global center. This is not just in Ontario, Premier, or in Canada, Prime Minister. This is around the world. So Canada is at the forefront of what's happening in Nokia. So I want to thank you for your leadership, because I know as a global CEO, just like a Prime Minister or Premier, you have a choice of where you're going to do your things. And that you flew this morning, or yesterday, I should say, from California to bless us with your presence, and to send a message that this is a vote of confidence in Canada. This is a vote of confidence in the people here of Canada, and I know you're a good friend of Canada, so I just want to say thank you again, if I may say, my friend, for being here today. I just want to say also greetings, obviously, Mayor Watson. I'm sure this is a good moment for you. You've been waiting for that, and we're delivering. I just want to say Jeffrey as well, Jeffrey Maddox, you're there, Jeffrey, just there. I just want to say thank you, because you were also on our back for quite some time to make that happen. So I want to recognize you were one of those who always push us to do more. And I think 340 million and beyond is exactly what's happening this morning. But I want also to Minister Fullerton, great to be doing things here, and we'll continue, because as the Prime Minister and the Premier said, I think the world recognized that this is a place in the world to invest in. And I would say our best days are yet to come. So you can trust on me and Vic to continue to drum the beat around the world to make sure people come to invest. I want to say also to the CEO of Invest of Ontario, Invest in Canada, the new CEO, and Invest in Ottawa, you have been great partners in making that happen. So I just want to acknowledge, because the Prime Minister said it, this is a team effort, and you've been part of the team in making that a reality. And then now, I'd like also to extend a special welcome to our other guest, the Ambassador Roy Eriksson of Finland. Mr. Ambassador, you're the head of mission here in Ottawa. We want to thank you. And we have our own ambassador of Canada in Finland. Now I just recognize you, which is with us here. So ambassadors, great to have you. It just say that, ladies and gentlemen, that's a big day. That's a big day for Canada and for technology around the world. And today's a clear demonstration that Canada and our skilled workers will play a big role a really big role in developing the technologies of the future. And Prime Minister, if you allow me, I'd like to stop there and just say to the workers, to the employees of Nokia, to the more than 2,400 people who make that a reality, it's really thanks to your knowledge, your know-how, and your expertise that we can have an announcement like this morning. So I want to give you a big round of applause because many of you are here today. But I will say without you, there would be no such announcement because I remember when I talked to Pekka the first time, he recognized that, the people make the difference. And I can tell you when you go around the world, the first thing people ask us is about talent. Talent is, I would say, the new gold. That's where people come here is because we have the right people. I just want to acknowledge you because you've been doing that for 40 years. And the Prime Minister mentioned in his youth, and even Jenna was here at the beginning. So I just want to say thank you. En effet, vous l'avez probablement réalisé, mais Nokia est l'employeur le plus important de la grappe de télécommunications ici à Ottawa. Avec ses installations ici à Canada, l'entreprise joue un rôle fort dans la région, je dirais même en Ontario, au Canada et même à travers le monde. Et l'investissement d'aujourd'hui de plusieurs centaines de millions de dollars va assurer la place de Nokia ici chez nous. Mais ce qui est important, c'est aussi pour les décennies à venir. On vient de s'ancrer ici dans la région pour les décennies à venir. Le travail que fait Nokia ici à Canada depuis plus de 40 ans va faire une énorme différence dans la vie de tous les jours des gens. On le sait, les services sans fil Internet sont aujourd'hui indispensables. Pour pratiquement tout, on a juste à penser des appareils connectés pour le travail, pour l'école, nos déplacements et bien évidemment rester connectés avec nos proches. Et l'annonce d'aujourd'hui d'un projet de plus de 340 millions de dollars, il faut le dire, 340 millions de dollars qui va être investi ici, va créer, comme je pense le premier ministre d'Ontario disait, plus de 300 nouveaux emplois, et c'est un début, mais va aussi permettre de faire une toute nouvelle série d'activités de recherche et développement autour de la 5G, et même, le premier ministre disait, même la 6G. Je peux dire, hier soir, I had the privilege of having dinner with Pekka to kind of brainstorm what 6G could be. I understand 5G, but he tells, in essence, 6G will be faster than 5G. So that's the way I can put it. Now, I won't pretend to be an expert here, obviously, because I'll leave it to the team of Nokia to do that, but I'll try to explain why, because you often need to start with the why in life. Why this project, one that will create more than 300 highly skilled jobs right here in our neighborhood, and a huge steps in area innovation is so important for every single Canadian. If you look around today, who doesn't have a smartphone? Who does not have a tablet, a laptop, even smartwatches? And these devices are as common as they are convenient in our daily lives. But at the same time, and here comes the punch, with the increasing number of connected devices, today's networks can get crowded, or as would put it, a virtual traffic jam. That's why the 5G technologies that Nokia is working on right here in Canada is so important because they will ease that traffic. So that what we're doing here is going to really make a difference in people's life. And whether you're using this device to work, to go to school, to commute, or just connect with loved ones, you want them to work well, and I would say you want them to work fast. And as we're looking at a connected economy, that's why the work of Nokia, you always try to see what's in it for me. Well, Canadians will benefit from the very latest technology as we move to the 5G, being connected, being fast and reliable. So en terminant, let's seize the moment. I would say let's be ambitious et ensemble faisons de Canada et du Canada un champion mondial de la technologie et de l'économie numérique. Merci, mesdames et messieurs. Bonne journée à tous.
Merci, Ministre Champagne, Ministre Fortier, MP Suds. Your vision for an innovative, competitive Canada and Ottawa in a green digital future and your partnership in bringing that vision to life is sincerely appreciated by everyone here at Nokia. Now, I'm happy to welcome another great partner of ours to say a few words, Minister Fedeli, of course, a champion of economic development and job creation in Ontario. Nokia have had the support of him and his team throughout the development of our plans for a new cutting-edge R&D hub. Together, we will help cement the Ottawa Tech Cluster, not just as a Canadian, but a global leader in talent attraction, innovation, and commercialization. Please welcome the Honourable Vic Fedeli, Minister of Economic Development, Job Creation and Trade Minister.
Well, thank you very much, Pekka and Jeffrey, Prime Minister, Premier, all the guests. Look, I'm going to go off script here because everybody has been introduced at least 8 times now, so there's no sense to... Page 1 of my speech will be gone, but I do want to... I'll look at the teleprompter flying, trying to figure out where we are now. What I do want to say is, when I think back over the last few years, where we were, I was in I call it the bunker in Corbeil doing our cabinet meetings, and we did this all the time. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Well, it's thanks to Nokia that you could be heard now. I think that's really the message that I want to deliver, because that's why we're here today, to thank you for your resounding support in the past on keeping Canada, keeping the world connected, and that's why we're here today to celebrate this fabulous expansion. So thank you very much, Pekka, Jeffrey, Andy, and all the team. Together, we're building Ontario. Our government is very, very proud to support the $340 million expansion of really good-paying jobs here in Canada. Together, we're building Ontario, and we're proud to support this project with $30 million through Invest Ontario. Thank you, Trevor, for your dogged pursuit of this investment. Nokia's expansion really is a game changer for the people of Ontario. You've heard it before now. There's 344 people that are going to come to work for the very first time. These are highly trained, highly skilled people, and it will continue to put Canada on the map as an IT hub for development. This new state-of-the-art RD facility will accelerate the development of innovative technologies and secure Ontario's position as the global leader you heard so many times today in advanced technology and in the digital future. This project will broaden Ontario's 5G, 6G as we've heard, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, machine learning, patent portfolios, all while enhancing the digital identity management and security. It really signals that Ontario is a great place to invest and grow, and will encourage even more investments in the Ottawa region, supporting further opportunities for hardworking families. You know, Nokia adding 100 additional internships so that more students will benefit from the competitive opportunities that will lead them to jobs of the future. That is, Pekka, that is absolutely remarkable and truly leading for the people of Ontario and the people of Canada. And we all know that this is just the beginning, because when companies look for investment opportunities, they look for a place that has the skilled workforce that you heard Francois talk about, that supports growth and investment. And as the Premier has said from day one, that is open for business. And we know that top talent from a wide variety of sectors, strong R&D ecosystem, world-class manufacturing. We have everything here. You heard from Premier Ford, the $7 billion in reduced costs over each and every year. This is what's attracting people initially, and then they find out we have 65,000 STEM graduates each and every year in Ontario, which is part of the reason we've become the #2 tech cluster in all of North America. So congratulations to everyone. Thank you for choosing Ontario, for making this historic investment. And now I'm going to turn it over to the hardest working MPP that I know, Minister Marilee Fullerton.
Well, you know, what an exciting day, and I can tell you as someone that's grown up in Canada and spent decades here, that every now and then, you know, there's always this baseline of excitement. But then all of a sudden, there's something that surges up, and it takes so many people to create that excitement. And I think of having the privilege of being in Canada for so many years, of having that opportunity to meet the people, to live with the people that have made this happen. So not only, you know, during COVID, but before COVID and into the future, are you solving the problems that face us today? You are all creating the future. So tremendously grateful to all of you. And I'm also, as the local representative, the provincial representative here, as well as a minister in the Ontario government, but I really want to thank Nokia for its tremendous leadership and its amazing commitment to making this happen. And as we've heard, it takes multiple layers of government, but ultimately it's about the people that take the risk. Look at the innovation that's needed. See the future, have that vision, have that persistence and dedication, determination and diligence to get it done. And all of you are here today, and I know that this is the beginning of this ripple for Canada, for Ottawa, for Ontario, for Canada, and I would suggest to you around the world. The leadership here is utterly amazing, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you for the commitment from Nokia, for the opportunity that you're creating for people in this area and across Ontario and Canada, but the businesses as well, because there will be a ripple effect. It's not just a vacuum that this will happen in. It will have a far-reaching impact. And so the planned headquarters and the R&D facilities will be another centerpiece for Canada North. And we've heard about the people that have made this happen. Jenna, we were talking about your impact, and I want to thank you for doing that. And I go back to the days of Terry Matthews starting some of the programs here and having that vision. And so we need to not only honor the people that have come before us, but acknowledge the very significance and talent of the people here today and those that will take over the torch long after we're gone. So it's not just the jobs, it's also the future for our students. The hundreds of programs that will be developed and the students that will be able to take over as we move forward. We need that talent. It's a global competition for talent, and we have that ability to retain these workers right here. Look at AI, look at cybersecurity and the 5G technologies, and it seems like no sooner do we have a technology than it's out of date and there's a new one coming. So it's really about keeping up, and that's what we do very, very well here. And I'm really pleased that the Premier could be here today. I know he's such a champion for Ontario businesses, along with Minister Fedeli. There's nobody that does it quite as well as the Premier and Minister Fedeli. And I know that everyone benefits when we work together across governments, across layers of talent and expertise. And so, I know that the Premier talks a lot about technology, he talks a lot about science, and I know that Canada, having the largest business or largest tech park in all of Canada. He is very aware and he references Canada and Ottawa on an ongoing basis. And I think this event today is going to give him a little more to talk about. So thank you again to the leadership team at Nokia. The Ontario government is proud to be supporting your expansion, future growth, and your continued success. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, Minister Fullerton. We are grateful for your ongoing support in transforming this campus into a next-generation R&D hub and true live-work-play destination in Ottawa and Canada. Minister Fedeli, thank you for your support for this project now and moving forward. It's so appreciated. Finally, local support from the City of Ottawa has been invaluable. Members of City Council, recognized for the importance of this project, have become excellent partners throughout this journey so far. To speak a little bit more about this, I am happy to welcome His Worship Jim Watson, Mayor of the City of Ottawa.
Alors, merci beaucoup, Mesdames et Messieurs, Monsieur le Premier ministre Trudeau, Monsieur le Premier ministre Ford, les membres du cabinet, les députés, Monsieur le Président, c'est un honneur pour moi d'être ici. When you're the last speaker, basically everything's been said, but I still will take my 2 minutes. I am retiring as Mayor of Ottawa in 27 days and 6 hours and 12 minutes and 3 seconds. But I do want to thank Nokia very much for your investment and your confidence in the City of Ottawa, and in particular Canada and Canada North. As the Prime Minister pointed out, and the Premier as well, we have over 500 companies in this park. It's the largest tech park in all of Canada. It contributed $13 billion to the gross domestic product of Canada, which is quite remarkable, and home to over 23,000 skilled workers. I also want to thank Prime Minister Trudeau and the Premier. They have to be the most accessible leaders that I've ever had the opportunity to deal with. The Prime Minister is always there at the big city mayors caucuses, representing the Government of Canada, working with us in a collaborative fashion, and that makes a big difference, Prime Minister, for you to be there. The Premier is legendary for handing out his phone number. He gave his phone number to Kathy Curry's mother, and he called her mother earlier today. And it's not just, he does answer the phone. I've called him on a couple of occasions, and it's Doug Ford. So thank you for your investment and the federal government's investment. And thank you, Mona, Minister Champagne. Jenna was the former executive director of the Canada North Business Improvement Area. She knows this sector inside and out. And to all of the executive members of the Canada North Business Association, thank you for your confidence. The employees, Invest Ottawa, Michael, thank you very, very much. And Ministers Fideli, Minister Fideli got his training in both the private sector and as mayor of North Bay, and he knows the importance of all three levels of government working together. C'est vraiment important pour les trois paliers du gouvernement de travailler ensemble pour la communauté. And I thank our city staff who work very closely with Nokia to ensure that we rolled out the red carpet and not the red tape to get this project shovels in ground as quickly as possible to create those extra 300-plus jobs. So to all of the people who have gathered here today, thank you very, very much for this great investment. Marilee, you're a great champion for Canada North and the tech sector, and we appreciate your ongoing advocacy around the cabinet table. Encore merci beaucoup. It's an honor to be here and as one of my last events as mayor, and what great news for the people of Ottawa, Canada North, Ontario, and Canada. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you, Mayor Watson. Your guidance and collaboration has been fabulous, and we appreciate your fierce commitment to this community. It will be missed, as well as to Nokia. Thank you, Ottawa City Council, for all the support you've demonstrated throughout this journey. Listen, we've just heard some amazing testimony to the fact that Nokia has an important role to play in growing the tech ecosystems and competitiveness of Ottawa, Ontario, and Canada as a whole. And we take that role very seriously. Of course, we're not doing this alone. We've heard from many of our federal and provincial partners today. There are many others who I'd be remiss not to acknowledge. The Invest Ontario team led by CEO Trevor Dauphiné and their board of directors. You are wonderful ambassadors for investment attraction to Ontario and great partners to Nokia. Thank you. The team at Hydro Ottawa, led by Bryce Conrad, CEO, thank you for your collaboration, and we look forward to continued partnership with you on this project in the future. And finally, as we've said several times today, to all of our Ottawa employees, our Nokia Canada employees, you are the centerpiece of this announcement. None of this would be possible without your incredible work, your contributions to Nokia's culture, your passion for your community. Thank you for all that you do. Now, we're going to take some media questions as the next phase of our agenda today. And so I'm going to invite Prime Minister Trudeau, Pekka Lundmark, Premier Ford, Minister Champagne, Minister Fideli to the stage to take a few questions.
Thank you. I will now start with questions for 15 minutes.
We've been back here trying to make sense of this announcement a little bit, and it would be good to have some clarity on who exactly is giving money to it and how much it's for. The provincial announcement says it's a $340 million investment from Nokia on a $770 million project. Mr. Fideli's up there calling it a $340 million project. The federal government is not giving any money yet. You're embarking on negotiations for SIF funding, but there are different amounts in different releases. Meanwhile, Nokia is saying Ottawa's a great place to do business. It's central to their corporate operations. They have so much money, they're doing share buybacks. So I guess my question for the Prime Minister is, can you clarify exactly how much money you're giving and what would happen if you didn't?
I don't believe I mentioned it in my speech, but we're giving up to $40 million to help with this important investment that Nokia is making in Canada North, in the future of 5G in Canada, demonstrating the strength of Canadian workers, demonstrating the vision that we share, working together to make sure that Canada is leading in the digital transformation at the same time as we lead in the green transformation, in the knowledge economy. This is good news for Canada. It's good news for Ottawa, good news for Ontario, good news for all of Canada.
Next question.
Bonjour, Christian Noël de Radio-Canada. Vous me permettrez, s'il vous plaît, de diverger de l'annonce d'aujourd'hui. Ça fait 4 ans que le cannabis est légal. Le marché noir représente encore 50 % et l'industrie dit avoir besoin de l'aide du gouvernement pour lutter notamment contre le marché noir. Est-ce que vous êtes prête à réduire les taxes sur le cannabis, mais surtout, êtes-vous déçu qu'on soit juste à 50 % du marché noir réduit?
Je sais que la légalisation du cannabis a été une grande étape vers l'élimination du marché noir, vers une assurance de qualité de protection des consommateurs. Mais on sait que ça allait prendre du temps et c'est en train de prendre du temps et on est toujours là pour être un partenaire pour les prochaines étapes. On voit que le marché légal du cannabis a augmenté énormément, est parti de zéro avant qu'on légalise jusqu'à maintenant, mais il y a encore beaucoup de travail à faire et on va continuer de le faire.
Next question.
Neville Hunt, Community Voice here in Canada. The question's for Premier Ford. Companies like Nokia choose to be in Canada because of our green space, quality of life. Your government has not made any effort to stop Club Link's plans to build on the Canada Lakes golf course, despite a perpetuity agreement. When will you start working with the Canada community to maintain our public green space?
Well, as you know, that was in front of the courts. The courts has made a decision. We respect that decision, and we'll always continue working with the region to have a strong green space.
You stepped in at Glen Abbey when the Ontario Land Tribunal was still looking at it, so does it matter where it stands now?
Well, the courts have made a decision on that, and I don't interfere with the courts.
Prochaine question.
Oui, bonjour, c'est pour M. Trudeau. J'aimerais vous parler d'un article ce matin du Bureau d'enquête du Journal de Montréal qui révèle que 44 employés de Service Canada ont été congédiés pour avoir fraudé la PCU. J'aimerais avoir votre réaction à cette nouvelle-là et savoir aussi si vous êtes confiant que l'agence va réussir à aller récupérer une bonne partie de l'argent qui a été fraudé.
Les gens se souviennent bien que quand la pandémie a frappé, on a vécu des moments d'incertitude extrême. Le gouvernement fédéral a choisi d'être là pour les gens à travers le pays de façon extrêmement rapide et de façon extrêmement généreuse. Parce qu'on savait que si on allait passer à travers cette première vague de la pandémie, les gens devaient rester chez eux. Ils ne pouvaient pas aller travailler. Et une des façons de s'assurer qu'ils puissent rester chez eux, c'est de s'assurer qu'ils puissent avoir de l'argent pour payer l'épicerie, pour payer leur loyer. C'est exactement ce qu'on a fait. On a envoyé la PCU de façon rapide et généreuse à tous ceux qui en ont besoin. Et ce n'est pas juste la bonne chose à faire pour protéger de la pandémie. Comme on est en train de voir maintenant, c'était la bonne chose à faire pour avoir une économie qui revient rapidement, en pleine expansion, en plein épanouissement, malgré les défis qui demeurent à travers le monde. Alors, ça a été la bonne décision. On a choisi d'envoyer ces chèques rapidement pour qu'on puisse passer à travers, mais évidemment, on est en train de s'assurer que ceux qui ont commis des actes de fraude ou des actes criminels, pendant qu'on était là pour aider les plus vulnérables, fassent face à des conséquences sévères, et c'est exactement ce qu'on est en train de faire.
Next question.
Kevin Gallagher, CTV National News. My question is actually for Premier Ford. There's an inquiry going on right now, today, about the use of the Emergencies Act by the federal government. Many of the witnesses who have testified, residents, businesses, have said that they were felt abandoned by the police, the city, the province, and the federal government. So I'm wondering why you're not one of the people who's testifying at this inquiry, but also if you can think back to February, do you think that the federal government was justified in using the Emergencies Act to lift the occupation of downtown Ottawa?
Well, we have some of the top officials with the OPP testifying, and yes, I stood shoulder to shoulder with the Prime Minister These folks were, camping out, everything from whirlpools, disrupting downtown, disrupting the lives of the people of Ottawa. We've worked collaboratively with the mayor and the prime minister over at the borders. They were holding up $1 billion of trade every single day, getting across our borders. We were getting phone calls from governors. It's unacceptable. Myself and I know the prime minister believe in free speech. And if you want to protest, protest. If you want to come down to Queen's Park and do cartwheels. But if you disrupt the lives of the people of Ottawa every single day, disrupt the lives, the economic flow across our borders, I have zero tolerance for it. Thank you.
Prochaine question.
Good morning, David Aiken, Global News. Question for the Prime Minister. We have a regime in Iran that has all but declared war on women. It's abusing women, systematically murdering them, repressing them. You lead a government that has very specifically set out a feminist foreign policy. Wondering why you haven't gone as far as, say, the United States, declaring the IRGC as a terrorist group, declaring more Iranians persona non grata in here. Why are you softer on Iran than President Biden?
On the contrary, Canada is one of the countries with the strongest sanctions regime against Iran in the world, and we're continuing to. Over the past over 1,000 days since the horrific shoot-down by Iran of a commercial airliner, including about 150 people headed to Canada, we have been forceful on holding Iran to account on the international stage, including also by working with partners like the UK, Sweden, and Ukraine at international bodies like ICAO and the UN to continue to hold Iran to account, including international courts of justice. We've also moved forward over the past days on some of the strongest, announced some of the strongest sanctions against individuals, but we're also using the kinds of measures that Canada rarely uses, that we only actually have used recently in the case of Bosnian war crimes and the Rwandan genocide, to list the Iranian leadership under measures around IRPA for their use of terrorism, their use of human rights violations, and the continued attacks on civilians. We will continue to look for all measures that are strong and appropriate to hold this murderous regime to account. We stand with the women of Iran, from schoolgirls to grandmothers. We stand with the allies with them. We stand with people around the world as they protest this murderous regime. We call on Iran to transform its approach.
Next question.
Hi, David Thurton, CBC. I'm going to ask this question to Premier Ford. Going back to my colleague Kevin Gallagher's question, how come, Premier Ford, you're not testifying at this inquiry? Were you asked? Did you decline?
I have not been asked. Again, I want to repeat what I said earlier. We have top officials from the OPP that were running the operation with conjunction with municipal police agencies and the RCMP. You know, our police did an incredible job. They were very peaceful, they moved forward, and I am so proud to stand here and back our police right across this country and right across this province. I'll always support our police. They're professional, they're polite, and they ended up getting the job done. Thank you.
Next question.
Good morning. Question to the Premier. Chris Curry, City News. We're 1 week away from the municipal elections here in Ontario. You've offered strong mayor powers to the mayors of Ottawa and Toronto, but the top mayoral candidates here have said that they won't be using them or they do not plan on it. So what does that say to the powers moving forward if they might not get used here in Ottawa?
Well, that's going to be their choice. I'd be very disappointed. You know, I lived in the municipal elections and down with my brother at the City of Toronto. So you become the mayor, and you get this big, nice office. You're called mayor, but guess what? You have the same vote as a single councillor. Why? They need the opportunity to move their agenda forward when they get voted in from every single ward in their region. They should have a little more power to make things happen, and rather than have the same vote as a single councillor. So hopefully they'll be able to use it. Hopefully they'll be able to use it to build attainable and affordable homes, And that's what we're focusing on with these municipalities, working collaboratively in cooperation to continue building attainable and affordable homes. And if you have a certain part of council complaining day in and day out, we need more homes, we need more rentals. Oh, by the way, don't build in my backyard, build in the guys down the street. So hopefully we'll move forward, and we're using Ottawa and Toronto as a test area per se, and then we're going to move forward a year after that and give it to other regions, other larger municipalities. So when you get as elected as mayor, it means something.
Next question.
Yes, Lee Berthiaume, Canadian Press. This question is for both the Premier and the Prime Minister. Children's hospitals across the province are being overrun now, and flu season hasn't even hit yet. What are you doing right now, specifically Premier, to help those hospitals out? And Prime Minister, will the federal government be stepping up to help as well?
Over the past couple of years, the federal government stepped up with over $70 billion in investments in healthcare, above and beyond what we normally do over the course of the year. This is because we know that supporting Canadians in their health is key to building a stronger future in every possible way. We've been working with ministers, with premiers on the next steps, on more longer-term health funding. There's still ongoing discussions on making sure that we deliver results for Canadians. But there is much to do, and we're going to be there as partners to do it. I think one of the things to remember as flu season approaches is people have got to get vaccinated. Whether it's getting the flu vaccine or getting up to date in your COVID shots. There are actually new formulations out now that are up to date to cover both Omicron and the original strain of COVID. And we encourage everyone to get those vaccinations, to keep pressure off of our hospitals, of our frontline heroes who are working so hard to keep people safe, but also keep pressures off of our economy and communities. If we're able to get a high enough level of vaccination, we reduce the danger of needing to take other health measures to make sure that we're all safe and not overloading our hospitals. And I look forward to continuing to work with premiers like Premier Ford on delivering a strong healthcare system for the future.
Well, right after this meeting, I'm going to meet the 3 CEOs of Queensway Carleton, CEO, and Ottawa General. They're great CEOs. I talk to them all the time. They've given me some great ideas. And then when I speak to all the CEOs of hospitals across the province, it's not a money issue. We're pouring money in at an unprecedented amount. Just this year alone, we're increasing it by over $7 billion. We've created 3,600 new beds, acute care beds. We're adding another 3,000 beds on top of that. We've invested over $40 billion in building 50 projects, the largest build in healthcare this country's ever seen. And right here, actually right here in Ottawa, you have the second largest project over at Ottawa General through the leadership of Cameron Love, which I think the world of, in the entire country. We're building more capacity. So there's 50 projects. Either they're getting a new hospital, they're getting an addition, again, $40 billion. And the College of Nurses just came out yesterday and said the largest expansion of hiring nurses, over 12,800 nurses right here in Ontario were hired, and we still have 3 months to go. We're building new medical universities across this province, bringing more doctors into this province as well. So we're going to continue focusing on healthcare, but folks, we can't do the status quo. The status quo is not working. You know, when I talk to the CEOs, they all agree, and everyone says it's not a money issue, Doug, process issue, but continuing to pour money into a system and keep doing the same thing and expect a different result, it just is not going to work. So we're working with the sectors, and we're getting advice from the experts, the people that are on the front lines day in and day out. On top of the 12,800 new nurses, we've hired over 11,400 new healthcare workers as well. So we're really, really ramping up. But again, folks, the status quo is not working. Collaboratively, together, we have to come up with a better way of delivering healthcare in a more efficient manner.
On va prendre une dernière question. One last question.
Hi, I'm Laura Glowacki with CBC Local. This is for Nokia Canada, I think. Can you give us some more details of the facility? Where is it going to be in Canada? When are hires going to come online? Like, when can people start applying for jobs? Like, any details like that about the facility?
I'd be happy to answer that. Thank you for the question. We're hiring today, so if anyone's so inclined, we can go to our Nokia.com website. There are plenty of jobs open. And we've been hiring through the pandemic, and we've been engaging students through the pandemic, which has been quite a fascinating illustration of how creative the team has been to find a way to bring students into a workplace that was largely closed for, just like many Canadian businesses were physically closed for extended periods of time. So we've been very creative about finding ways to engage the community and our student population. We will be based on this property, and we'll do an unveiling in a moment, but the quick answer is we will rebuild on the east-south corner of the property, some new towers, and eventually move our team from here into those towers. So we plan on continuing our hiring efforts, bringing new staff in all the time. PECA has a grand mission for what we're seeking to do as a company, not just here locally, but we operate in 130 countries locally, or globally rather. We're a large corporation really trying to make an impact on how the world acts together. So as you might imagine, there's lots of opportunities for the company. We'd love to hear from prospective employees. Thank you for the question.
Merci beaucoup. C'est ce qui m'a fait la conférence de presse.
Sorry, Jeff, I think that was great from local perspective. I just want to add one thing. I mean, for a company like us, R&D and technology competitiveness and investment into creating something that is truly leading in the whole world, that is paramount, because the technology business, it's brutally competitive. In any of the segments where you are competing, I mean, there is usually margin in the value chain available only for number one or number two in any given segment. So the only acceptable goal that we can have as a company is to go for global technology leadership in all those segments where we have decided to compete. And we are in a unique position. We are the only Western telecommunications technology company that is operating in all segments of the network infrastructure that will be needed in the future. Mobile access, mobile broadband, fixed access, fixed broadband, and all the software that is needed for managing all this, including network security, routing, optical connections. We have everything, and what our grand vision for this site is that this will be a center of excellence for most of these things that I actually mentioned. And for a global company operating in 130 countries, we will have a very, very limited number of truly kind of first-class R&D hubs in the whole world. And this site, what we are talking about here, will be among the top 5 in the whole world for Nokia.
That's what we want to see.
All right, thank you, everyone. This is what ends today's press conference. C'est ce qui m'a fait la conférence de presse d'aujourd'hui.
Wonderful. Thank you for the questions, and thank you for the discussion today. A few of our esteemed guests now have to exit. Prime Minister Trudeau, Premier Ford, Minister Champagne and Fedeli, we so appreciate your time today. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a conclusion to the first portion of our agenda, but don't go anywhere yet. We're just going to take a moment to reconfigure the stage, and we're going to dive into a discussion panel. Yes, I'll get to that. Moderated by Andy Thompson, and several of our other guests on the future of 5G technologies. But I just thought we could reiterate why we were here today before we move to the next part of this. You know, our plan is to transform Nokia Ottawa's Ontario facility into a world-leading sustainable research and development R&D hub, as Pekka just pointed out. The Tech Centre will significantly expand Nokia Canada's capacity in next-generation information and communication technology, also known as ICT, and cybersecurity innovation. This transformation is expected to create more than 340 new jobs, high-value jobs, and help Nokia attract highly skilled global talent to Canada's tech system. So without further ado, let's move to the next agenda. Thank you to all of our guests for joining us, and stay tuned. We'll reconfigure the stage and continue. Thank you. Merci.